Hello, with us today is Judge Priyer. Judge, thank you for joining us.
Hi, my pleasure.
Judge Priyer is the first Hasidic woman to achieve this position, and thank you very much for being with us. We would like to learn about the home you grew up in and what in there kind of helped you to achieve the position you are at today.
And my mother and my father are both amazing parents. Just a regular, humble home with incredible values. My parents taught us that we have to work hard. Nothing just comes to us. We're not entitled to anything. So growing up in a home where we were taught real religious values, we were taught that we had to work hard. Nothing was coming to us. And my mother had a rule. She said to us, girls, you could do anything you want to do, so long as it isn't illegal, immoral, or against the Torah. So even though I was ultra religious growing up, it never occurred to me that there was something I couldn't do. I knew we had rules, but I knew that whatever I wanted to do, I could find a way to make it work.
So how really this has happened? Is that like a turning point? How the story unfolded?
So my story is really a story of over 30 years. So often people want me to share in like 30 minutes what happened in 30 years. It's not even possible, but in a nutshell, I'll basically describe to you what it was like. So I graduated high school, I was 17 years old. At that time, there were no college opportunities for Orthodox Hasidic women. And I took a course in high school to be a maskira, a secretary for lawyers. And I thought that was going to be the best job forever, keeping me happy. And I got great jobs and I was very happy until I turned 30. When I turned 30, I realized that I can do much more and my mind is bored. And at that time already, colleges opened up that were catering to the Haredi community. There were separate classes for men and women. There was no homework over Shabbat. There were no classes over the Chagim. And it was possible for me to go to college. At that point, I was still working as a legal secretary. My 3 boys were born, and during my 6 years in college, my 3 girls were born. And then everybody told me that it was impossible. Every step of the way, everyone said, never going to happen, it's never going to happen. And I kept saying, how do you know? How do you know? If Hashem wants something to happen, it's going to happen. I just have to try. And very slowly, part-time, I kept on studying and studying. Altogether, it took me 10 years to get my law degree. And once I reached that, I was so happy and so excited and said, wow, thank you, Hashem, for making it possible. Then I said to myself, well, what's the next step? What's the next thing I'd like to achieve? And my uncle at that time was a judge. His name was Dovi Schmidt, Alav HaShalom, and he was my mentor. And when I was already a lawyer for about 10 years, he called me up that he's going to retire. And that if I still want to be a judge, I would have to run in an election for his original seat in civil court. And it's all hashgacha pratis, how Hashem just orchestrated everything, how it happened. Everyone said it was never going to happen. But if you really want something to happen and you work hard and you have that emunah that Hashem can make it happen, you can make it happen too.
Growing up in Borough Park, being a mother, doing this career, it's combining a lot of worlds. What do you feel are the challenges that you were faced with? And what are the things that you feel like you had to compromise in order to achieve the position you're at today?
Sure. So I think that one thing I have to make very clear, for me, what was always very important was never to compromise my Hasidic values, my traditions, and my observance. My Torah observance to me had to stay the same. I didn't want to let go. That was for me the most important thing. That's why I did things very, very slowly. In terms of compromising, first of all, women, get help. Please don't think you have to be a hero and do everything yourself. Get help with the housework, get help with the children, because otherwise you're going to get burnt out. And it's a necessity. It is not a luxury. My mother always told me that. You're not going to have a matzeva in gold if you're going to kill yourself. Get yourself help. And sometimes the husbands understand, and sometimes they don't. But you have to make it very clear. The next thing is, don't rush. Please, take it slowly. When I started school, there were people who started with me who wanted to do very fast, fast track, and they just got burnt out. But I did it slowly. And as I was taking on more responsibilities, as I was studying more, as my family was growing, I had the time to slowly just the opposite. Because when I stood firm on my religious values, people respected it. So you might think to yourself, oh, I want to be like everybody else. I have to blend in. You don't have to be like everybody else. You're special. But work hard and people will value what you're bringing forth.
What are the values that guide you in your work as a Jewish person and as a woman?
So in terms of the Jewish values, tzedek, tirdo, always be just, al tadin et chavercha titgei lemkomo, don't judge someone until you're in their shoes. All those values, Pirkei Avot is full with all those important values. So that's like the Ruth Bader Ginsburg picture. That's the bigger picture of justice. The Torah was the first recording of justice to the world. On a more micro level, for myself, for Haredi women, sometimes there's the challenge of we dress differently. I cover my hair. I wear dresses. I don't wear pants. So then you have to be very proud of our values and understand that these values that we have will not hold you back from success. I'll give you a small example. Among the Hasidim, men and women don't shake hands, right? Now, there are many Orthodox people who do shake hands among the genders, and they have different reasons why it's allowed. But I said to myself, I have these gedarim, and I have to keep them exactly the way they are. Because if I'm going to start letting go with one small thing, it'll be more and more as I go down my path. So you don't have everybody has their own kesher to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I don't know what yours are, you don't know what mine are. But whatever connects you to God, keep it and don't let go. I don't know what your values are. I don't know what's important to you. But whatever is important to you, don't think that you have to let go one drop to be successful, because you don't. I'll give you another example. I was at work in a law office, and every Friday they had a policy which was called Dress Down Friday. I don't know if you have that in Israel. Do you have that in Israel?
No, but around the professional world where I am, people just stop dressing up, period. Okay. So we have a dress down every day.
Okay. So I come from Borough Park, and in Borough Park we like to dress up. And every Friday I had this problem. What should I wear today? What should I wear today? And at that time I had a denim dress. It was a jean dress. And I knew that my sleeves were a little too short. It was the kind of sleeves where if I picked up my hand, the sleeves rolled down. But I figured, it's Manhattan. Who really cares about my sleeves? And I'm sitting at the computer, and I'm typing. And the lawyer who I was working for, he was Jewish, but not religious. He comes over to my desk and he says to me, Rachel, I see your forearms. And what he said to me then was like a punch in my stomach. When I went to school in Beis Yaakov, we had teachers who would be our sneaker teachers. None of them ever impacted me like this young lawyer, because his message to me was, I know you're Hasidic, and I know you dress modestly. I'm sure you don't know your sleeves are too short. So when people see that you have values, they respect it. People want to have people to look up to and respect. And I came home that day, and guess what I did? I threw out that dress because I realized that I have an obligation. If people know that I'm Haredi, they know that I'm Hasidic, I have to make an impression that's going to be positive. When you are religious and you go out to work, you have so many opportunities to be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim. Value that, appreciate that, and use it. And don't think it's going to hold you back from success. If you have to leave early for Shabbat, whatever you have to do, you do it. You do the right thing. And you'll see it'll be just the opposite. It will help you be successful because the message that you're giving to your supervisors or your coworkers is that you're a woman of honesty, loyalty, integrity. You're the person that could be trusted. Because even when nobody is looking, you're only eating kosher food. When nobody is looking, you're running home to be home time to light the candles for Shabbat. Nobody is looking at you, but you are sticking to your values. And that's what's so important in the world. So I'm going to say that I don't feel like I'm second class. And if anybody treats me as second class, I will stand up for myself. I think that if people who have personality disorders, sometimes they try to take advantage of women, but don't let yourself be taken advantage of. That is the advice I give people. I didn't get to where I am because of being treated as second class. My community of Hasidim voted for me. I had to run a campaign. They voted for me and I won an election. And I ran against a Orthodox man with a beard. So I will not say that I'm treated as second class, and no one should ever feel that they are second class. And if you do, please work on it because you have to change your mindset. There's no reason to feel that way. And I'll just end off by saying that according to the Torah, you are determined as a Jew if your mother is a Jew. And that's it. I think that God gave us the biggest responsibility in Judaism to carry on the religion. So the Torah is meant to be a guide, to be a blueprint for life. And if it's followed the right way, it is a beautiful way of life, right? It's the way of Chaim, it's the way of Shalom, and that's the way it should be. And you women, you can do it, you can be successful. Don't let negative thoughts fill your mind. Because if you fill your mind with negative thoughts, I had lines and lines of people who gave me all these negative statements, we call them naysayers, who told me all the reasons why it's never going to happen. You have to believe that Hashem can make everything happen and that Hashem runs the world. And don't believe people who try to make you feel like you're second class, because we're not second class. We have different mitzvot. The men have their mitzvot and we have our mitzvot. I am so proud to be a mother and a grandmother. I think that is the most beautiful part of being Jewish, is to raise a family and to see your children and grandchildren grow up. So I'm going to wish you hatzlacha, and all your women who are going out into the workforce, be matzliach, work hard, put your best effort forward, take it slow, please don't rush, and get yourself help, and open up your siddur and your tehillim and pray that God help you and give you hatzlacha.
Thank you very much for being with us.